Hello and welcome to Daily Records. I am Tommy Burton and we are talking about guitar heroes, and we're continuing right on with this album featuring the great guitarist David Gilmour, released on September 12th, 1975. This is Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here. This was their 9th studio album, and it actually came out a day later in the United States, but still 1975. Now, this was brought together by some music the group were working on while performing in Europe, and the recording took place over several sessions at Abbey Road Studios. A couple of the songs here are very critical of the music business. There's another where it talks about alienation, and of course it's all centered around the main track, Shine On You Crazy Diamond, which is a tribute to Syd Barrett, the founder of the band, who had left a few years earlier because of mental health problems. Now this is the follow-up to Dark Side of the Moon, which was a big breakthrough for the band, both studio-wise and commercially. And it actually brought in some guest vocals like Roy Harper, who sang on Have a Guitar, Vanetta Fields, who added some backing vocals to Shine On You Crazy Diamond. Of course, it was a big, huge hit. It became so big that they could hardly keep up with the demand of the sales of the album. But it's gone on to be, even though it was kind of mixed at the time, after following an album like Dark Side of the Moon, which was such a huge commercial success, this did go on to become one of the great 500 greatest albums of all time, according to the Rolling Stone list. And David Gilmour has actually said it is his favorite, one of his favorite Pink Floyd albums. Now, what I like about it, and talking about the guitar thing, I mean, the title, the title track, Shine On You Crazy Diamond, features some really, really nice economic playing from David Gilmour. I think Gilmour is a great guitarist because I think he is very tasteful in the notes that he chooses to play, and I do enjoy hearing what he plays. Now, there was this moment, and we'll talk about it, because they were doing Shine On You Crazy Diamond, that they were working on the track, and this overweight man had a shaved head, and he walks in, he has shaved head and eyebrows, and he walks in the studio, and he was carrying this plastic bag. And Roger Waters, bass player, didn't even recognize him, and Richard Wright presumed that he was just a friend of Roger Waters, but then they realized that it was indeed Syd Barrett. David Gilmour thought he was a member of the EMI staff, and even Nick Mason didn't recognize him, and was completely horrified when David Gilmour actually identified him. He later wrote that the conversation didn't entirely make sense. And artist Storm Thorgerson said two or three people cried. That he was kind of sitting around talking, but he wasn't really there. It really was a very disheartening experience, and folks were very upset by it. When he asked about how he gained so much weight, Syd said he had this big refrigerator in his kitchen. He'd been eating lots of pork chops. And then he said he was ready to help with the recording, and he was listening to the song, Shine On You Crazy Diamond, and he had no idea that the song was even about him. It was just a strange time, and he just left. He never said goodbye or anything like that, and they never saw him again. And so it was a very odd thing. And of course, because of that appearance, if you listen to the final version of the song, Shine On, there's this little refrain that Wright plays there where you can hear a little bit of See Emily Play, the early single. So it was, as an album, and I have to say, you know, compared to Dark Side of the Moon, which is ultimately what it gets compared to, I think this is a warmer album. I won't say it's a better album than Dark Side, but it definitely is an album that's more, to me, just pleasant on the ear. And it just comes out of the speakers a lot smoother to me. And there's a great sort of subtleness to all of it that works very, very well. And so I think it's a worthy follow up, and I think it deserves the critical reacclaim that it received. I mean, you know, when any band releases a huge album like that's like, you know, we had discussed Fleetwood Mac's Rumors. I mean, anybody that does that, it's hard to follow up. And Pink Floyd, I think, made a very worthy successor. While maybe not as huge, I think it's a decent album on its own terms. And so today's daily record is "Wish You Were Here" by Pink Floyd. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's TommyBurton75. Enjoy hearing from you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, share. In the meantime, I'll see you all again tomorrow with another daily record.